Hi, it's Pastor Paul Anderson from the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Satisfaction Saturday. God has taken us through a week that you and I probably thought we would never see come to an end. We're so grateful that as we're at this last day of the week, we must remember that God has a great blessing in store for us all. Please look with me into the Word of God out of the Gospel according to St. Matthew, the 24th chapter, verses 1 through 14. This is when Jesus speaks of the future. So I want to ask you the question, do you know the sign of his return? Do you know the sign of his return? I can remember years ago, you remember the days back in the 70s, it used to be very popular. When you met somebody, you asked them, what's your sign? You remember we were talking about the sign of the zodiac, but now we're talking about, do you know the sign of his return? Our text on today tells us and gives us a setting that Jesus is now about to leave the grounds of the temple. As he's about to leave the grounds of the temple, he does something so powerful. He teaches us a timeless message. He is now seated at the Mount of Olives. He's there with his disciples. Remember, it was this place in this setting of the Mount of Olives where Jesus does so many teachings. Remember how he gives us the Beatitudes. He gives us the similitudes. He gives us all of these wonderful, insightful things that will be beneficial to us all. Now he's sitting down with all of his disciples, and the text lets us see he's talking to them in private. And while he's having this private conversation, they ask him, Lord, how do we know? What are the signs that you are about to return? It's amazing, and I find it very intriguing in the text. They want to know about Jesus' return, and he hasn't even left them yet. Can it be that they really get a glimpse that he really is the Messiah? He's going to die. He's going to ascend to the right hand of the Father and come back and call all of us home. This is what they began to talk about. What is the eschaton, the end of the time? So they wanted to know, how do we know when you're coming back again? Well, Jesus had already told them that he would be crucified, he would be buried, he would be resurrected on the third day. He would go to be with the Father, but he would come back. They thought his return was going to be very imminent. They thought it was going to be close. They thought it was going to be a matter of a short window of time. But notice what he does in the text. He says, don't be misled. He had to remind them, yes, I'm here, but there will be those who will come after me who will try to misguide you and mislead you. We live in a current society in the midst of COVID-19, in the midst of what we have all seen this past week, that so many people have portrayed themselves as being almost God and God himself. But we must always remind ourselves, don't be misled. The Bible tells us there was only one Messiah, and Jesus has now come. He's ascended to the Father, but we need to know he's going to return. And lastly, he tells us that notice by the sign of the times. He talks about there will be unrest, there will be wars, there will be rumors of wars, there will be earthquakes in diverse places. There will be all sorts of things to happen in the air, in the sky, as well as in the sea. Can you believe all the hurricanes that we have seen in our time? I think this could be somewhat of the precursor to remind us that the Lord is about to return. And you and I need to ask ourselves, do we know the sign? Do we know what time it is? I think it's time for all of us to do like that great old song says, you better get your house in order. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to make sure I have my house in order. I'm trying to make sure I have already settled my account. I want to make sure that on the day when the Lord calls me, I'll be ready to answer because he will call all of us one day. Let's be prepared. The Lord wants us to know, do you know the sign? Read it in the book and you'll find out when his reappearance is imminent. Look in the sky, and I believe he'll be coming one day soon. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you in worship on Sunday morning here at the Fountain.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for your prayerful support and all the things that we have done in ministry to help so many others. We thank you so very much for your generous support in times past, and we thank you for your present support and what you will do in the future. May God richly bless you, exceedingly and abundantly above all that you're able to ask, say, or think, according to his power at work in you. God bless you.